It is so beautiful to see working people and young people coming out trying to reclaim their government. If there is a large turnout, we are going to win here in Michigan. Secretary Clinton has supported virtually every one of these disastrous trade agreements. They have resulted in tens of thousands of factories being shut down here, moved abroad. If elected president, we are going to fundamentally change our trade policies. Secretary Clinton went out of her way to mischaracterize my history as it relates to the 2008 auto industry bailout. I voted for the auto bailout. What I did not vote for, and make no apologies, is the bailout of the crooks on Wall Street whose illegal behavior and greed brought this economy into the worst downturn since the 1930s. I listened very carefully to what President Bush, Vice President Cheney had to say about Iraq, and I concluded they were not telling the truth. I voted against that war. Secretary Clinton, and a member of the Senate, listened to that same debate, the same information. She voted for that war. History will record that my vote was the right vote. There has been a massive redistribution of wealth. People on top becoming much richer, middle class shrinking. Together, we're going to fight to make the minimum wage in this country a living wage. If you work 40 or 50 hours a week, you should not be living in poverty. A great nation is determined by how we treat the weakest and most vulnerable among us. Many of my Republican colleagues in the Senate think we should cut benefits for disabled vets and elderly people. Not only are we not going to cut benefits, we are going to expand benefits. What this campaign is about is fighting to end institutional racism. We are tired of looking at the TV and seeing unarmed African Americans killed. We have got to demilitarize local police departments. We need to make police departments reflect the diversity of the communities they serve. We need a revolution in how we do mental health in this country. We need to do away with minimal sentencing. The so-called war on drugs has failed. Under a provision called the Federal Controlled Substance Act, marijuana is listed as a Schedule I drug alongside of heroin. Heroin is a killer drug. Marijuana is not heroin. What the Latino community is telling me is that they are tired of living in the shadows. They want comprehensive immigration reform, I agree, and a path toward citizenship. Climate change is real. We have got to summon the courage to take on the fossil fuel industry. Their short-term profits are not more important than the future of the planet. We are going to pass paid family and medical leave. Now, I've been to Flint, Michigan a couple of times in the last month. What I heard and saw is almost impossible to describe. Months ago, I asked for the resignation of Governor Snyder. People say, well, Bernie, you're right. What's going on in Flint is a disaster. What's going on all over this country is beyond belief. Yes, we have to rebuild infrastructure, but $1 trillion, oh my goodness, that's a lot of money. Some of these corporations, after making billions in profit, they do not pay 1 nickel in federal income tax. If we do away with that loophole, it's $100 billion a year coming in. We can rebuild our infrastructure. It is more important to rebuild the Flint water system, the Detroit school system, than to give tax breaks to profitable corporations. We are being ripped off big time by the drug companies. Healthcare is a right of all people. Public colleges and universities 50, 60 years ago in this country used to be almost tuition free. Now, if we could do it 50 years ago, why in God's name can't we do it today? Billions of people in this country today are really being burdened and crushed by very high student debt. We should not punish people for getting a higher education. You want everybody to be able to go to college? You want to lower student debt. How are you going to pay for it, Bernie? If the American people could bail out Wall Street, now is the time for Wall Street to help the middle class of this country. Secretary Clinton, here in Michigan, would defeat Donald Trump by 16 points. That's really good. Bernie Sanders would defeat Trump by 22 points. The American people understand that we are a great country when we come together. If one of my 7 grandchildren has a problem, I want you to be there for my grandchildren. When your families have a problem, I will be there for you.